Well, Keith, spooky season is upon us, and I am one of those quirky people whose favorite holiday is Halloween.
Today, we will be sharing some of our favorite Halloween memories from the 80s.
Hey guys, I'm Abby.
And I'm Keith.
Welcome to our 80s Life podcast. So this show was prompted by an announcement from McDonald's. McDonald's has announced that they are going to bring back the Halloween buckets that we know and love from the 80s, and I got really excited about that.
These guys are marketing geniuses. I mean, how many times have they brought these things back?
It's been a while, though.
And then Abby just gets reeled in to like, the buckets are back.
Remember the buckets?
Remember the buckets? They're back. I gotta get 1, 2, or 3, or 4.
Well, I really want the ghost one. Oh, I have the one?
Wait, so do you think you're gonna be able to go through the line and go, oh, yeah, I'd like a Big Mac with fries,
No.
and I would really like it in the ghost.
No, it's not a Big Mac. It has to be a Happy Meal.
Well,
It's a kid's Happy Meal. Don't come in Big Mac.
Okay, well, okay. Let me rephrase that. You get a hamburger. I'd like a hamburger with the
Happy
small
Meal.
fries. Pretty, please.
Can I have the
Give it to me in the ghost bucket.
Right.
Okay, I'm glad I'm aligned here.
I feel like if I ask really nice, I might get it.
That person making minimum wage is going to go, you're going to get what you're
you
going to get.
And don't throw a fit.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, anyways, okay. So did you ever have the buckets back in the 80s?
Probably not. I don't remember. I very rarely went to McDonald's.
Okay.
And the main reason is because at that point in my life, I did not like ketchup on my burgers.
Oh.
And those little
reconstituted
onions they put on there. So
you didn't like McDonald's?
I didn't like McDonald's, so McDonald's was not high on my choices of places to go.
Okay.
If I was going to get to go out to eat. So
okay.
I did not get reeled in by the toys.
All right. Well, I did.
Yeah, you did.
But I really liked the buckets for the Halloween. So anyways, those, just so you know, they were introduced in 1986.
Okay.
Okay, so now the first year, they just had the little pumpkins, and they were called McBoo, McPumpkin, and McGoblin. But they were all pumpkins with, like, different faces. Now, Keith and I went to an antique mall.
We saw some.
Yesterday. Yeah, we saw some, and they have gone up in price.
They're much more than a Happy Meal cost.
They were, like, around $12 for the vintage
and
ones.
I'm like, they can probably stay here.
Okay, yeah, we didn't buy any. But recently, I bought one at an estate sale for only $1. I got the witch one.
Ooh.
So I have that one. But I want to try to get the ghost because I don't have the ghost. And now I know in the 80s, the ghost one glowed in the dark.
Does it still glow?
I don't know. I'm hoping it does. I want the glow in the dark one. So,
well, when you go through the drive-thru, tell them you want the ghost that glows in the dark.
okay. I'm going to tell them that. And so it starts a Tuesday, October 18th. That's tomorrow, you guys. So no pressure. I'm going tomorrow.
So what time in the morning can you start buying Happy Meals?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to get up like early and go. I'm just going to go at lunchtime and try to get one.
So you're not setting your alarm for like 6 a.m.
Well, I was hoping that you'd go with me, like for your on your lunch hour.
Oh boy.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
It sounds like a blast. No, it really does sound like fun.
All right. So Tuesday, I forgot to tell you, on Tuesday for your lunch hour, we're going to McDonald's.
Good to know.
We're going to get some Happy Meals.
I cannot wait.
I mean, I can't even eat the Happy Meal. I have to have gluten-free.
I'll eat yours then.
You can eat my Happy Meal, and I'll keep the bucket.
Because unlike childhood Keith now likes hamburgers with ketchup on them. Now,
okay.
Now, they need to cut the dicey onions, but...
the reconstituted onions.
But I'll take the ketchup.
Okay. All right. We're doing it.
All right.
And everybody likes fries. I mean, I like fries.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Do they give you like a cookie or something?
I don't know. I haven't
Okay.
gotten a Happy Meal in a long time.
Okay. Just asking.
I don't know.
I'm trying to prepare my palate.
I think a Happy Meal is a cheeseburger or a hamburger and fries.
Okay.
And a drink.
And a drink.
Yeah, I think that's it.
And
that's all you get.
Yeah, and you typically would get the toy, but I guess the bucket will be the toy.
The bucket is your toy. Yeah,
Okay.
it's instead of the toy. Okay.
Sweet. I'll have something to go trick-or-treating with this year.
Yes. Today we're going to talk about our trick-or-treating memories from the 80s when we were kids. The 80s were prime time trick-or-treating for Keith and I. So we want to share some of those memories. We want to talk about our costumes. We're going to talk about candy. We're going to talk about tricks and treats. All right. So first off, let's talk about candy. What was your favorite candy to get for Halloween? When you're trick-or-treating, which house had the good ones? Like, what was the best candy?
So the best candy is definitely chocolate.
Of course.
Now, that does exclude, like, Baby Ruth.
Oh, you don't like Baby Ruth?
No.
So it can't have nuts?
I would say no nuts. You know, I like Snickers now. I really didn't like Snickers then.
Uh-huh.
So I was more of a Milky Way guy. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are my jam.
Three Musketeers with the
Three
nougat.
Musketeers, solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So chocolate is still more expensive. So if you have chocolates, like the little bit
Those
better
were the good
candy.
houses. Now, how about for you?
I really like Pixie Sticks. I like the fruity stuff. So I always got excited for Pixie Sticks,
Jolly Ranchers?
Jolly Ranchers, Fun Dip. This year, we're giving out Fun Dip. So kids, if you want to come to our house, we're giving out Fun Dip.
We're giving out Fun Dip.
We are. I already bought it. And, you know, part of the reason I bought Fun Dip.
We got to get some chocolate, too.
Well,
though.
that's why I bought Fun Dip, because I knew if I bought chocolate, you'd just eat it.
Would I do that?
We wouldn't have any candy for the trick-or-treaters. So I got Fun Dip, knowing that I don't have to worry about Keith getting in there and eating it before trick-or-treat time.
Well, the candy will be safe because I'm going to diet for the next 2 weeks until
Bad
Halloween.
timing.
That's
oh,
right.
No.
But the night of Halloween, all the candy is fair game.
Yeah.
So the kids better come quick because I will be eating it.
We don't usually get a ton of kiddos, but I think Fun Dip is a solid choice.
Yeah, it is.
And it's kind of vintage. Now, we did make a video a while back. We've actually made 2 videos about 80s candy. So, like, one was our favorite Halloween, and one was just 80s retro candy. I'll link those videos for you guys to watch if you want a deeper dive into our favorite 80s candy. But, yeah, I knew you'd say chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Chocolate is my jam, for sure.
Okay, now, you told me that when you were a kid in the 80s, you used to play tricks on the younger kids. So I want to hear about that because that is not part of my Halloween experience at all.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we lived kind of out in the country. So we lived in a neighborhood, but it was outside the city limits. So we didn't get a ton of kids. But as we got older, what we would do is we would have one person manned at the door, but then one person would be manned in the yard.
Oh.
So the non-suspecting trick-or-treaters would come up to the door. They knock, 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 and trick-or-treat. And then, I would
ambush them.
I would be there, and then we'd have someone coming in from behind.
Scaring them.
And they go, rah!
Maybe they drop some candy, and you could pick it up.
Oh, yeah, usually it wasn't that dramatic. But
okay.
But we would scare them, and I definitely know some tears were shed.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
I know. I felt bad about it. No, not really. But
We never did tricks. We only did
you only did treats.
treats. Yeah,
Okay.
we only did treats. But I had an annual Halloween party.
Oh.
And so I have some pictures actually to show you of that. So it wasn't every year, but most years, especially if it fell on a weekend, I always had a Halloween party. And my dad was so cool, he would get like a fog machine.
I was about to ask was that a fog machine or dry ice?
Some years it was dry ice, and one year my dad rented a full-on fog machine.
Why does that not surprise me?
I know, he's an engineer. He's into it. He had as much fun with the fog machine as we did.
This looked like a hip happening party.
It was really fun. We would have a pumpkin carving contest, and we would go trick-or-treating. We had a piñata that was like a pumpkin-shaped piñata. In case you didn't get enough candy with the trick-or-treating, then there was a piñata with more candy. Usually we would go to a haunted house. That's another thing. I love the haunted houses. Now, Keith, when we first got married, he wasn't into that. I had to drag him to the haunted house.
I had gone to one haunted house probably before that in my life. Mm-hmm. I was probably 6 or 7.
Oh, you were little.
And it was in the old downtown area of Nacogdoches. Okay. It was at the old movie theater that had been shut down.
Spooky.
And they turned it into a haunted house. And so we go through it. And at one point, we're walking down like this hall. And all of a sudden, it was like this, I don't know if it was like a train or this light comes on.
That's scary.
And I literally just become paralyzed. And I just fall to the floor.
Oh, you fell down?
And my dad's like, oh, come on. And I literally cannot walk.
You were frozen with
I
fear?
I was frozen with fear, and I was just paralyzed, and I couldn't move, and I just sunk on the floor, and I couldn't go anywhere. I wasn't like freaking out crying or anything. I just was like in shock.
You were too little to go to that haunted house.
And my poor dad was dragging me out. But that was one of my early memories of the haunted house. It was great. Oh, it was great. Afterwards, I'm like, oh, that was awesome. But it scared the crap out of me.
Daylight. Okay, I love the haunted house. Now, my parents did not go in there. We went, they just took us and dropped us off, and we would go, and they would wait at the other end. My mom, there was no way she was going in there with us. But I was a little older than what you're talking about. I think I was like 8 or 9 by the time I went to my first one. But I have a funny story about one of the haunted houses. One year, my costume, I remember the Fruit of the Loom commercial with the guys that were dressed up like different kinds of fruit?
Oh, yeah. I've seen them in New York City.
Oh, the real ones?
The real ones.
Oh, weird. Okay.
I don't know if they're real. There were some dudes dressed up like the Fruit of the Loom guys.
They
were real to me.
Trying to make a buck. Okay, well, I thought it would be funny. I was inspired by that, so I dressed up like a bunch of grapes, but I just wore like a purple unitard, and I attached, like I pinned
balloons?
Purple balloons all over it.
And you wore that to a haunted house?
I did.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. The haunted house was a little like, it was a tight squeeze. It was like all made of particle board and stuff. By the end of the thing.
No balloons?
My balloons were mostly popped, and I was just standing there with like a purple unitard and a bunch of deflated balloons.
You went from a grape to a raisin.
I did.
Yes.
Ruined my costume, but it was a fun haunted house. Ours was usually at Richardson Square Mall.
Okay.
And it would be like either an
empty... Where?
Well, they had these hallways, you know, those creepy, they're creepy by their own rights. You know those creepy hallways behind the stores?
Yeah.
They would set up like haunted houses behind there.
It's kind of like that long, creepy hallway you got to walk down to go to the restroom.
Bathroom.
Yeah.
It was that. Or there would be like maybe an empty store attached to it, I think. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But I do remember going to the one there. And then there was also one at Huffines, our like Parks and Rec place.
Okay.
Yeah. The recreation center. Okay. Did you watch the Charlie Brown movie? The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown.
I did not.
Your childhood. How sad for you. I bet you know my favorite line from that movie, though. I bet you know. Where they're going and they go trick-or-treating, and then all the kids are like, I got a candy bar. I got some gum. And Charlie Brown says,
all I got was a rock.
He goes, I got a rock. Oh, my gosh. And then the part where he tries to make the ghost costume, and he's like, I had a little trouble with the scissors, and his has like all the holes in it.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Charlie
It's
Brown.
great, but, you know, if I watched it as a kid,
yeah.
Mom, I apologize. I don't remember.
Well, maybe you didn't get that channel. You only had one channel.
I only remember watching that as an adult, so.
I watched it as a kid, and it only came on once a year, but I was so obsessed with it that I bought the LP record album, and I would listen to it. So I had the whole thing memorized, and it had a little storybook that went with it.
You know,
of course,
for me, Charlie Brown as a child was just not that interesting.
Oh, I love Charlie Brown.
I mean, I was all into, you know, action figures and fights and, you know, high action. And Charlie Brown is more of an acquired taste, and it takes a little bit to get to the plot line.
It's so cute, though.
It's great. But my attention span at an early age was not that great.
Okay. Well, did you ever watch the Garfield one? Because I did not, but I just bought it in an estate sale.
Okay.
So we're going to watch it this year. But a lot of our friends on my last video commented that they loved the Garfield Halloween special.
Well, I'm going to experience something new this year.
Me too. I don't remember it. The video came with the Halloween one, the Thanksgiving one, and the Christmas one.
Oh boy, we're going to get all the
all
the holidays here.
I just don't remember watching those as a kid, but I love Garfield. I don't know why I wouldn't have watched it. I just don't remember. But we're watching it this year. We're going Garfield.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about our costumes.
Costumes.
We have to talk about, that's my favorite part of Halloween, are the costumes. I mean, the candy is great, but you can get candy any old day.
No, the candy was much better than the costumes.
No,
the reward was better than the work.
Oh, no, I love dressing up. Now, we talked about this earlier. We dressed up, we got to wear our costumes to school for only one day.
We did not. At least that I don't remember.
That's sad because I loved dressing up and wearing our costumes to school, and then we would also wear them for trick-or-treating. So I got to wear mine twice. I mean, I went all out.
That sounds really fun. I wish our school would have done that, but I don't remember doing that.
And our daughter Zoe's school, in elementary school, they let them wear their costumes to school, and they would do a costume parade. Remember that?
Oh, I love watching the videos of the costume parades.
The cutest thing. Their costumes were so fun. I loved seeing the creativity.
Yeah.
Some of those are really fun. I feel like in the 80s, we weren't that creative. Now, we both started out in the 70s. Like, we were born in the 70s. So our first Halloweens were late 70s, and that was when they had the plastic.
Oh, yeah.
Just junk costumes, really. Drugstore.
They were hot.
They were hot, and we were in Texas. It was sweaty. They were not comfortable.
No, and
they like tied in the back.
And they were really thin too. It was like wearing like a plastic sheet from like the stuff you use like when you paint, but it was really hot.
Okay, so I have some pictures of these. This is so I always went trick-or-treating with my neighbors. I think this was 1979.
And what are you there?
I had one of those plastic costumes, and it was a princess, but I'm not wearing my mask in the picture. My mom, I think maybe I refused to wear the mask, so my mom put makeup on me instead and a necklace, and we just called it a day.
Yeah, you'd have those little plastic masks, and it never failed that the little elastic on the back would always break.
They were kind of dangerous. It looks like my friend Jen was also a princess, and her brother was some kind of a rabbit or something. But the next year, I did not wear that costume. I ended up wearing a handmade costume of a clown.
Okay.
But they had the plastic ones again. So hers is Charlie's Angels. See?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And his is Fred Flintstone.
And those would probably be worth like $500 today.
I don't know about $500. But these old plastic costumes, especially if they're still in the box, they can fetch a pretty penny. For sure. They're very collectible now.
Now, I don't know who would want to wear one today.
No, they don't want to wear them, but for some reason people want them. Yeah. It's the nostalgia. Yeah. The next year, then I did the clown, and then the next year I did another princess, but this was more legit, like actual princess costume with fabric and a tiara and a little wand.
Very cute.
That was fun. Okay, so those were my early costumes. What's the first Halloween costume you can remember or you have a record of?
The first one I have a record and recollection of is dressing up as a pirate.
All right, let me see this picture. Y'all, his pirate costume consists of a bandana on his head, an eye patch,
no shirt,
and no shirt. I can't see what you're wearing. I'm assuming it's jeans or something. Pants.
I think I had on jeans. I had to show the muscles, you know.
You're a shirtless pirate.
Give the ladies what they want to see.
Oh my gosh. This is the best, most 80s nostalgia picture ever.
This was like my neighborhood friends. So the neighborhood I grew up in, these were my running people. This was my tribe.
There's a lot of kids for being a small neighborhood.
Yeah, there were a lot of kids in the neighborhood. So I give mad respect to Curtis Sears for the Kiss outfit.
He wins.
I mean,
if it was a contest, I'd give it to him.
I mean, he was a forward thinker.
Yes. And also, I love the little Wonder Woman. That's really good. I had Wonder Woman underoos. I was really into Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Melissa brought the Wonder Woman.
Very cute.
And we had two Supermen.
Yes.
We had a Spider-Man.
Yes.
Had a skeleton. And we had a C-3PO, brought that. And then we have some really weird dude standing in the back that looks like he's about to poke a knife through C-3PO's head. What the heck is up with that?
I do not know.
Awesome picture. But, I'm still friends with a lot of these people in this picture, and it was an awesome memory.
Are you friends on Facebook? You should post it.
Oh, everyone has this picture already.
Oh, you've posted it before.
This picture has been posted multiple times.
It's like it goes around every Halloween.
Yeah.
It's such a great picture. Yeah. I love that picture. Yeah. All right. So after that, the other one that we have of Keith, the picture that we have.
Well, before we get to that picture.
Oh, you got another story?
Well, I have a story.
Okay.
I have a story, but it kind of goes back to these, plastic costumes. One year I went as Darth Vader.
Oh, was one of the plastic ones?
One of the plastic ones. So
we just don't have a picture of it.
Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of it, but I had on the black cape, had on the black mask, I thought I was it.
You were sweating it out.
I was sweating it, but I was Darth Vader.
Did you change your voice? Did you try to talk
I talk like this. It was awesome.
I feel like in the 80s, like, all the kids were into Star Wars. That was like the late 70s, early 80s. That was the costume. Something from Star Wars.
It was always a safe go-to.
The next one is so legendary. Now, I don't remember these, but this costume was called the Kooky Spooks.
The Kooky Spooks.
It was a
awesome.
factory-made costume starting in 1979 through the early 80s.
I'm so glad I have a picture of this.
Me too. So let's take a look at that picture. All right. So if you're listening to our podcast and you're not watching the video,
Close your eyes and visualize.
this is an inflatable headpiece that looks like a bat.
With,
It's a bat.
with crazy eyes.
Crazy eyes. They also came in like alien. There was a spider one you could get. There was a cat one. Keith had the black bat. And then it also came with a plastic matching poncho and
Face paint.
okay, now for years I've seen this picture and I did not realize that the face paint came with the Kooky Spooks costume. I just thought that Keith's mom, being creative, did his makeup for him.
It could be a little uncomfortable.
Okay, so they came in different colors. There was like a green one, a yellow one, and they had matching face paint.
Yep.
Keith's was black.
Yes.
So
full disclaimer right now, it came with the paint.
yes.
I painted my face black. It was not to do blackface like Justin Trudeau. It came with the costume. There you go.
Okay.
So whenever I run for political office one of these days,
He never did blackface.
no, it came with the costume.
But it looks like it, though.
Yes.
But that's because you had the black bat. And, nobody was thinking about that. You were supposed to disguise your face. I think these costumes were partly marketed for kids who'd been wearing those stinking hot plastic monstrosities on their face and were like, I don't want to wear a mask. And so their parents would get them this, and then they'd just paint their face to go with it.
I still remember it being awkwardly hot because you had to it kind of wrapped around your head and you had to tie it underneath your chin. So it was still hot and awkward. I remember that, but I thought I was cool.
Well, as a bonus, if you ever fell in water, it could be used as a flotation device.
You would not drown. Well, you might because your head would still be underwater.
And these things are hilarious. Okay, I actually found on YouTube, because of course YouTube has everything, I found an old commercial for these Kooky Spooks. So I think we should watch it.
This year, there'll be goblins and bats, spacemen and cats. The Kooky Spooks are coming! Bonehead, Scary Spider, Owly Owl. Yes, the Kooky Spooks are here. The scary ready-made Halloween costumes that are worn on top of the head. And each kit comes with matching makeup instead of a mask that covers the face, plus poncho and safety tape. Kooky Spook costume kits, 9 zany characters to choose from.
9 zany characters.
That's pretty cute. I don't know how this trend escaped me, but I never saw those. I don't remember them at all.
It only came to Nacogdoches. It never came to Dallas. It never made it to the big city.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. After my plastic princess, the whole rest of my costumes were all homemade, and mostly I made them. I just put them together myself. I liked doing stuff like that myself. Okay, so here I am, 1982. Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Now, I made this I put this costume together myself. I realize now it wasn't very accurate because I believe Dorothy's dress should technically be
right?
blue.
Yeah.
Mine was red, but I guess I figured close enough. It was gingham, and it was cute, and it would match the red slippers. Now, I have a little story to go with this costume because I actually was so proud of myself. I made the ruby slippers. I got some old of my tap dance shoes because I was a tap dancer. I got some old tap shoes, and I thought I was being so clever and so crafty. I coated them with Elmer's glue, and I sprinkled them and dipped them with lots of red sparkly glitter. And they were so pretty, as you can see in the picture. Tied them with a little red bow, and away I went. And so Halloween night, I was trick-or-treating with my friends, Russell and Melissa. And we got about halfway down Baltimore Street. And out of nowhere, a big rainstorm hit.
I know where this is going.
We just got drenched in rain. And by the time I turned around and got back home, the glue, I guess, was water-soluble glue. It had washed off, and like all of my glitter was just gone.
Were you devastated?
I was pretty devastated.
Oh, man, that sounds terrible.
It was sad because trick-or-treating was over because it was raining. We couldn't continue our trick-or-treating, and my shoes were ruined. So that year was kind of a bust.
That's sad.
Yeah, it was very sad. But after that, let's see. The next year, I dressed up as a witch. I cannot find any pictures of that one.
It didn't happen then.
No, it didn't. Well, then none of yours happened.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
It did happen, but I don't have any pictures. And then the next year, you can kind of see it in this picture. I was an angel, and I made like a little halo out of pipe cleaners.
Oh, yeah.
And had some little wings. And then the next year, I was a bride. I made my own dress.
Okay. Was there a groom?
No, there was no groom.
Okay.
I was waiting for you.
Oh, how sweet.
And then for some reason, the next year, I decided I wanted to be Annette Funicello from the
That's a random choice.
the Mickey Mouse Club. Did you ever see the movie Back to the Beach?
I believe I did, yes.
Yeah, I loved that movie. I was pretty obsessed with that movie, and so it inspired me, and I decided I wanted to be Annette, like a younger version of Annette from the Mickey Mouse Club.
Cool.
So, random. That's the last one I can remember. Then I sort of outgrew costumes.
So I think after the Kooky Spooks, we got a little lazy. We figured out in the neighborhood that it really didn't matter what we were wearing, just as long as we went around and said trick or treat. So we would just throw together whatever the last minute.
Yeah.
Just put together some really lame costume, and then we'd go around and hit all the neighbors up for some free candy.
When we outgrew it, then we finally quit. But, it was all about the candy.
It was always about the candy.
Now, when Keith and I got married, it became all about the haunted houses.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we were too old to go trick-or-treating.
Yeah. So we started going to haunted houses, and we became haunted house enthusiasts.
Yep.
And we went to all the haunted houses.
Yep.
What's the scariest moment from a haunted house that you can remember?
All kids of the 80s most likely have watched Poltergeist.
Yes.
And have some fear of clowns.
Yes.
So we went to this one haunted house, and we had to I remember it was really late at night. We had to stand in line for forever. But we go in there, and we're in some kid's bedroom. And it looks all nice and innocent, and you're walking through there, and nothing's really happening. So you're wondering what's going on. And then you look behind you, and there's a clown sitting in the corner.
Like a creepy clown in the corner.
Just like in a pile of stuffed animals.
Yeah, it was almost like you weren't sure if it was a person or if it was fake. Yeah.
But all of a sudden, that clown got up, and he was on stilts.
He was. And he was really
chasing
big.
us.
He got really big all of a sudden.
And all of a sudden, he's chasing us across this room. I couldn't get out of there fast enough.
That was so scary.
It was scary.
And I think they had closed the door behind us, so you had to find your way out. And yeah, we were both terrified. That was the one I was thinking of too.
Okay. Yeah.
That was the scariest one.
Yeah. Now, the one that startled us the most, remember it was on Garland Road, and that we were walking through, and there was some little kid that was up in the rafters above us, and he dropped something down on us. And
it was like a rubber snake or something.
And he thought he was so cool. He's
he got us good.
Yeah.
I think his parents were running the haunted house, and he was just there helping.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came from up above. Did not see that coming. There's another one here in Kansas that they have clowns. Clowns are a recurring theme. A lot of people are afraid of clowns. And they move the doors around and sort of you feel like you're trapped. That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
But the scariest part of that one is the exit.
Oh, the slide?
I mean, it's just not a slide. It's like a 2-story straight down from the top of this barn down to the ground slide. It's terrifying.
Yeah, Abby was trying to negotiate with them, and
the first time,
are there stairs that can go down?
there's just another way.
There's another way out, and Nope, there's only one way out, and that's on this huge slide.
And I'm pretty sure the lady at some point just sort of like shoved me down, and I went down screaming.
And it was awesome.
It was awesome, but they tell you to cross your arms, and I think I instinctively tried to sort of like grab a hold to slow myself down, and I skinned my arm the first year. But we've been back a couple of times, and it's always very fun. Now that I know what to expect, it's not quite as scary, but still pretty scary.
Yeah. So before we close out this podcast, one other thing I did want to talk about trick-or-treating was there's always that one house.
Oh, the one that runs out of candy?
Either runs out of candy or didn't have candy.
I mean, I can remember as a kid in the 80s, like there would be like some random house where they would just give you like pennies because they ran out of candy.
Yeah, or the
Instead
ones
of turning the light off?
Or the ones that gave you fruit.
Or, I don't remember getting fruit.
Or a toothbrush.
Oh, no. Don't be that house.
I mean, come on. It's like if you don't want to give anything out, just turn your lights off.
Turn your light off. Don't give out toothbrushes. Was that like a dentist?
I don't know, but I'm like,
no, that's super lame.
Some of the worst things I've ever gotten at Halloween. But the funniest memory we have, now this is not in my childhood.
This is our
daughter's childhood. Well, we were in our neighborhood, and we go to this sweet lady's house.
Yeah. And
I guess there had been a lot of trick-or-treaters that night, and she was running low on candy. So she takes one of the little Snickers, little fun bites. I mean, not a very big Snickers. Fun size, not a very big Snickers. I'm running low on candy, so let me see if I can figure this out. So she takes the fun bite Snickers, she opens it up and cuts it into thirds.
She did.
And then
on a plate, like she put it on a plate.
And then gave each one of the kids a third.
An unwrapped piece.
Unwrapped Snickers.
She did. The sweet lady.
It's like, oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do either. The kids were like, oh my goodness. Yeah. And it took like 5 minutes for her to sort it out.
Now, right down the street was the guy that was the founder of Pizza Hut.
Yes.
And he would hook the kids up with the full-size Snickers, so the kids always wanted to go to his house.
Yeah. He had the full-size Hershey bars.
Okay.
And
I just remember it was full-size.
And on the other block, the other direction, we lived down the street from Kirstie Alley. And Kirstie Alley, who maybe you guys don't know, she's from our town of Wichita. But she has a house here that she sometimes is here, sometimes she's in California. But when she was living there a lot, when we were living in that neighborhood, she would do hot dogs and pass out hot dogs to all the neighborhood kids.
Love the hot dogs.
That was so nice.
Yeah.
What a nice thing to do.
I wonder if that's a Midwest thing, because I never had the experience of that growing up.
No, but there's more than one house in that neighborhood that does hot dogs.
Yeah, there's a couple. And
they would just do a weenie roast, and then you could just come up, and they'd have them for the parents, too.
I hit them all. I got multiple hot dogs that night.
Halloween here, especially in our old neighborhood, the older part of town, is a big deal. Hundreds of kids. I think the ones that live in the apartments and stuff, they'll drive in and they'll go, because that neighborhood, they decorate. They decorate like Christmas time, but Halloween themed.
Oh, yeah. It's cool stuff.
Amazing decorations. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching our video or listening to our podcast today. We hope that you guys, if you get a chance to go to McDonald's, we hope you get one of those McDonald's buckets.
Good luck.
Halloween buckets. And from us to you, happy Halloween.